Hey, it's D. It's a brand new episode coming right for you, right on the FTO network. Enjoy. All right, brand new episode. I'm one of your hosts of Table Cheese. Welcome to the show. I'm D of FTO Nerd Talk, doing Table Cheese, talking about the Game Awards. Here are my co-hosts, the coolest of the cool, Anton Sixxx. Anton Sixxx, what's up, man?
What's up? Had a great couple days. Thursday watched the Game Awards. Then went and saw a Lil Baby concert with special guest Drake. And then recorded Chessy Controller yesterday. And then now I'm doing Table Cheese today. So it's been a lot of news, a lot of announcements, a lot of stuff. But, been doing good. Can't complain.
It's mostly been piling up and then piling up with like the same stuff that we've been seeing at the Game Awards. Like the Game Awards has been putting so much on people's plate when it comes like to video game alone news, and there's just so much to take away from that entire experience. First and foremost, I did not realize this was the same thing as like the Spike Award Game Awards. I thought it was something entirely different, but you know what? Seeing that in like my 20s and getting involved in that and seeing like it's still going on today.
Yep. And it's bigger than ever. That's the thing.
Nuts, dude. Just so nuts. And I saw that Chessy Controller has like an entire 3-hour long viewing of this entirety on your Twitch page. If you guys get a chance, make sure you check them out on Twitch and see like their views and their comments about that. But it was huge. You're right. Like music performances. Al Pacino was there.
Al Pacino,
you got to see some
Halsey,
awards.
Animal.
Halsey? Yeah, nuts, man. I think let's just get right into it. Like, what was your big surprise of this whole thing?
Like game related?
Winning wise.
Winner wise?
Like winning of award.
So I guess I'd call these the biggest upsets. Every category that Stray won in, I was like, Stray's not that great of a game. Like, I played the beginning of Stray. Darren has played all of Stray. Like, a lot of because it took, like, best indie and best debut indie, and, like, there were other games that better represented that. And I'm partial towards Vampire Survivor. Best debut indie, Vampire Survivor, and Tunic both got robbed by Stray. Both those games, I feel like, deserve that better. So, like, those moments were kind of like...
it was also nominated for Game of the Year, too, I believe.
Yeah, it had zero chance. If it won Game of the Year, I'd be out. I would, in a year with Elden Ring, because I said it beforehand, I was like, if God of War Ragnarok wins, I won't even be mad. Because, like, Elden Ring was really great for me and my friends, but I know it was really big in the industry, but, I didn't think that it had, like... I knew it was huge, but, God of War Ragnarok has also been really huge. And I feel like that's more mainstream. Like, God of War Ragnarok has an easy mode. Elden Ring does not. Like, Elden Ring will kick your teeth in and, like, demoralize you and make you...
Yeah.
So, it's not, like, this mass appeal thing. They're, like, eldritch horrors in that game. Like, it's not... God of War... And while this one is a lot more violent, like explicitly violent than some of the older ones were, like God of War has a more mainstream appeal than Elden Ring. And God of War Ragnarok was a super epic game. So those were my two. I voted Elden Ring because Elden Ring was that for me, but no other game in that category other than God of War Ragnarok had a chance. Plague Tale Requiem didn't have a chance. Horizon Forbidden West didn't have a chance. Stray didn't have a chance. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3 didn't have a chance. I'm sure Xenoblade is awesome. I'm sure it is. Like, everybody I know who's played a Xenoblade game has been like, yo, these games are, like, super cool. So...
they are fun in their own right, but I do feel like it's a certain group who really finds them extraordinary. Like, not everyone is a big Xenoblade fan.
They could have given it to it in best RPG, like, because Elden Ring won Game of the Year. Like, that's what I felt like. God of War got a lot of the like consolation awards, but like Elden Ring is like usually whoever gets best game direction also gets game of the year. So we knew Elden Ring was gonna probably get those two. And like the more awards God of War won, it was the more of like, yeah, they're definitely not going to give it all of these and Game of the Year.
I feel you. Let's go back to indie just for 1 second though. Like you hop right to Game of the Year. You must really want to get into that. But you said you didn't want Stray to win. There are like other games in the category that are in the indie category, which should have won as opposed to Stray in your eyes.
Are we talking about indie or debut indie?
The indie, like Code of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, and Tunic. Which one should have taken the gold?
There are people in our Discord server that were saying post Elden Ring that Tunic was their game of the year. They would like stand up and legitimately have arguments for Tunic. The fact that Tunic, I don't know why people are hyping up Stray the way people are hyping up Stray. If everywhere that Stray was just Tunic instead, because hands down it's like a game in a similar like category, similar price, like smaller game. Tunic just seems to have done every comparison point you can make between those two games. Tunic does it better in most people's opinions. So like I could see Tunic going on to get like GameSpot Game of the Year or something like that. Like that's the level Tunic has been at. So like yeah, in just the best indie, I know a lot of people were really down for Neon White. Sifu, I knew people who've talked about every other game in this category as their game of the year. I until this haven't seen anybody put Stray in their game of the year. Because it was on PlayStation Plus Extra, so like a bunch of people got it. It was one of the first releases through like that upgraded PlayStation Plus service, but you know, like it's a good-looking game. Like you play as a cat, you do cat things. Like maybe it's just because I'm not a cat person. Like I knew people like who had cats that were like, yeah, it's a cool game about cats, but I've legitimately heard every other game except maybe Cult of the Lamb. Like I heard a lot of people really like Cult of the Lamb, and Cult of the Lamb had a lot of positive buzz with it, but people weren't saying game of the year. I heard people say game of the year for Neon White. I heard people. I'm pretty sure. I can't be 100% sure about this. Radix game of the year might be Sifu.
I'm looking at the gameplay of Neon White right now, and Neon White has like a Mirror's Edge kind of card
it's
play
like
aspect to it.
It has like a speedrun aspect to it.
Yeah.
And so... But people thought it was like a card game because like your cards are your weapons and like your abilities weapons, and stuff. But people took that as like it's a card game. But the more like the hardcore action speedrunning kind of crowd realized what that game was, like they really gravitated towards it.
I can see why folks say Tunic. I'm watching like all these games as we're talking about it right now. I saw Sifu. Sifu was really cool. It's like a really cool story-based fighting game.
Well, so like Sifu's easy mechanics. Sifu's actually getting a movie from the John Wick creators. So
damn, that was fast. Jeez.
Because Sifu, like, that's what I'm saying. Sifu was, like, huge. So, Sifu, the premise of the game is your master gets killed when you're young. And then you grow up to, like, 20 years old. And then you are, like, on the path of revenge. You got to kill, like, all the lieutenants and then, like, kill the big boss. But every time you die, you age. So then you get to like you get to like
try 80, to defeat the game before you get too old,
right? And so like as you age, that also affects like the combat of when you're young, you're more nimble, but you can't take as many hits. But when you're older, like you have more endurance, kind of you can take more hits, but you deal less damage. So and you kind of like play along that curve as you age throughout the game. So, and the
That's really
like fighting mechanics of it were like top notch. Like that was.
It looks fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really think that like if you were to ask, it'd definitely be in Radix like top 3 of the year, but I think it might be game of the year for Radix.
Right on. So now it makes me want to check out some of these games. To be honest, like me watching it right now, I want to go and like maybe probably play, especially Tunic. Tunic looks like a very Zelda-esque type game. That looks like a fun game.
And it has like, so there's one of the mechanics in the game is like this game manual that is like the actual manual for the game, but it's in like the game's like made up language. So like there'll be symbols and like you're collecting pages and like fragments of this manual. So like
right,
you get a fragment, you look at it, it has like a symbol, like it has that kind of like old school, like it's tutorializing itself, but not necessarily tutorializing itself. Like you're learning how to play the game through playing the game. And so it seems like it's on the list of games I'd like to play. I'm just flooded. Like I'm less than 48 hours from Crisis Core, and Gundam Evolution has been in my veins. And
I get that too. It feels like a new age Streets of Rage kind of game, honestly. Like with a mythos attached to it that you can get involved inside of. Watching the seafood, this is like a fun game to really indulge yourself inside of. But you also talked about like the game of the year stuff. You went into it. You started talking about them. Xenoblade, Stray, Horizon Forbidden West, A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War, but Elden Ring took the gold.
Yep.
They took that and game direction. And as you said, like if you win game direction, use that means you're going to win game of the year. Like you also said you're not that surprised that this happened. Like amongst like your community, that's the game people gravitated for was Elden Rings. But do you think Ragnarok was that far off from winning game of the year?
No, like legitimately, that was kind of the thing with, and then post Ragnarok, because playing through Ragnarok and like being actively playing it, there was a lot of stuff in that game that was quality of game of the year. Like Christopher Judge's performance as Kratos, like the fact, like all the different parts that it won game of the year for, or like it got a game award for, like all the different other categories it got a war was winning
narrative, score, action adventure,
all of those things are game of the year quality, except maybe audio design. I think that should have gone to Gran Turismo or at least Call of Duty, because like the way that both of those are like super nerdy with detail. Like Call of Duty
grass crunching with like
Call of Duty they added proximity chat this year, but they all have always had 3D audio of like you can if somebody's coming from your right and you have on a good pair of headphones, you hear them coming from your right, like
exactly. And they've already kind of like always proud of themselves on being that precise with their audio sound too, like in that kind of detail inside of it, and knowing like when someone's like to the left or right of you throughout your headphones, and hearing like the gunfire and all that stuff, like it always kept it very, very in tune with those sound qualities. Even Gran Turismo with their sound of cars and like
Gran Turismo are like the car nerds. Like, they go out there. That's how you know a new Gran Turismo's in development. If you see Polyphony Digital out on a racetrack, rigging it up with microphones to drive 100 different cars, and, like, so they can get, like, acceleration, braking of all these individual cars, like, that's how you know a new Gran Turismo's in development, is when you see them out there.
It's time.
Because it's not like, they probably do have a racetrack, like that their studio can readily access, but for them to capture like 3D models of like even some of the tracks like internationally, that's all they do is they travel around the world and like study cars, and like you get a lot of that in their visuals, but you also get a lot of that in their audio.
They did win an award to Gran Turismo. They won Best Sports and Racing Game. They did win. They did hit like a win.
And Ollie World deserved to win there. So it's just all around.
Oh, so you don't think Gran Turismo should have won?
No, because like it came out and was surrounded. Like the reason I don't have Gran Turismo as a Gran Turismo fan is because their monetization has been like off the wall. I'm waiting for them to put out like their deluxe edition with all this like piecemeal DLC or like with X amount of credits or whatever, so I can get into the game and enjoy the game and not have to put money into enjoying the game. And, like, I'm a Gran Turismo fan. Like, Gran Turismo 5 on PS3, Gran Turismo on PSP, those are my shit.
I find it hard for someone who grew up, like, in the early years of gaming, like, in the late 90s, the early 2000s, and not even if you don't like Gran Turismo, like to not appreciate Gran Turismo, like, that's sacrilege in the gaming community. Like, you gotta at least, like, appreciate what Gran Turismo like is and what they've done, like what they put out there.
Right.
But yeah, no, I hear you. Like,
but Forza has kind of eclipsed because I remember like Gran Turismo was the gold standard for a long time. Now Forza is the gold standard in racing games.
Jeez.
And the Forza Motorsport that's about to drop next year, that's one of the first games where they're going to $70 price tag for Xbox first party. And I think that game's going to be nuts. I think that game's going to make Gran Turismo 7 look bad. Honestly.
Yeah? Wow.
Just because Turn 10 has gone away for, like, several years at this point. Because I think the last one, I think there was a Motorsport 7. But that was probably 3 years into the Xbox One generation. So we've gone a while without a Turn 10 developed Forza Motorsport. So we've had a bunch of Horizon games. I think we got up to Horizon 5 is like the last one they've done. But yeah.
I am watching this Ollie World.
Yes.
And first and foremost, did not know it was created by the same creator of Adventure Time. First and foremost. Well, secondly, this game looks awesome. Looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
like,
Ollie.
Wow, like that.
Ollie is a franchise.
Grind on just about whatever you see around you, like the way like it's accessible to the entire world is like a skate park, and it just keeps on going. It's like one of those straight motion games, but like there's an ending to it. This is wild, and there's a story attached to it as well. Holy hell!
You're trying to become like the Tsar of Nar, I think.
Yeah, I like that. This is crazy.
Yeah, Ollie. So, Roll7, the developer, they made Ollie and Ollie 2. And both of those were like small, downloadable. I know they were free on like PlayStation Plus or something. At some point, I got these games. And like, me and my friends got really into them because they have the same controls as the Skate games, which are really big. Like, Skate 3 is one of my all-time favorite games. So, considering it was a 2D game and it had like the same trick system as the Skate game, so I was just translating all of that into like a run-based, because it's just levels. You just like every level has a beginning and an end, and you're just trying to do the best tricks and get the best grinds, and like there's timing associated with all of this. Right, get that score up and like keep going. And this is kind of their biggest outing because both of those, their soundtracks, timeless. Like, both of those games have, like, incredible soundtracks. And Ollie World just seems like an improvement in every direction of, like, those two games, which are, like, top-tier games for me. But I think the only thing that held Ollie World back for me is just they introduced character customization, and they just didn't give me access to enough of the character customization that I wanted, because the character creator is like really good, but then it'd be like in Skate you could essentially like, it was a lot more straightforward of doing the challenges you needed to get like the gear you wanted. So
yeah, I'm watching the review. They didn't even talk about like the character customization really. So no, I get you.
but yeah, if you look at it, one of the cool things is the loading screens in the game are like somebody on your friends list, their skater in the game, and so it's really cool. Like
The game looks cute. I will say that it looks like a very like cool, just like a chill kind of game.
right, and that's part of the
it,
thing with these with the Ollie Ollie series is you can tell they're skaters. Like I was a skater. Like I used to buy all my backpacks with a board strap on the back so I could strap my skateboard to my back wherever I was going. So like yeah, I was fully engrossed in the culture, and so like this feels like authentic with like its respect of the culture, and like it like people like clapping for stuff by like slamming their trucks on the ground, and like just all of those little things really add up to being like, oh yeah, you guys skate and you just made this game.
I can see that though. Like, you know, I feel like that niche audience in that aspect could be part of the reason like what took it away from that and gave it to Turismo, since like we both know Turismo has like a very fluid graphics. It's very dynamic in certain ways.
Well,
I can see like that's why Turismo got to win over Ollie Ollie.
I just feel like Ollie Ollie did the best job of, because like FIFA and NBA 2K, like those are some of the top. FIFA is the best selling game in the UK, EU, like in Europe, flat out, constantly. It's like FIFA is the best selling game every month until a new FIFA game comes out, and then that's the best selling game.
Pretty much, yeah.
And like NBA 2K is like that in the States. So where like NBA 2K is like the gold standard, like it's like surpassed Madden. Like people think of video games as 2K. Like there are, 2K has permeated culture in a way like no other game has. Maybe Madden.
And while some of you may think like it's the same game every year, they do add like a lot of different like dynamics to the game every single year when they come out. So like, like a lot of you like who don't play sports games, it's like, well, it's just the same game. They're just like in a basketball court. Like the graphics improve, the character design improve.
Sometimes
like,
they take a like huge technical hit, because like that's the thing is these games like they're on like this constant treadmill like of Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty has.
That's a good reference to it, yeah.
A bunch of studios working on this, but 2K, like, it's one big studio. And so, like, you have essentially an 8-month development time. So, like, when you complain that it's the same thing as last year, like, it's kind of an incremental over time thing. Like, even I am not a sports gamer. I'll play skating games all day, every day, but I'm not necessarily, like, I don't play Madden, I don't play 2K, I don't play FIFA, but every once in a while, like last year, the most recent FIFA, it might have been earlier this year, the most recent FIFA was just free on PlayStation Plus, and I hopped in and I played a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, like if you're following it year to year, I'm sure some years are big, other years are small. It's the same thing as like when I was following Call of Duty. Some years you'd get like a lot of big improvements. Some years it'd be like, this feels worse than last year's game. Like it's just kind of because like the
drop it a hat sometimes. Yeah, like there was one major game out there. I think was it Black Ops 2 that came out and it wasn't really hit well for Call of Duty. So yeah, sometimes it just happens.
Well, I think all the Black Ops have Black Ops became the main series when Modern Warfare started to like die down,
fizzle out.
So I know Call of Duty Ghost a lot of people don't like. I have a soft spot for it.
That was the one. It was Ghost. That's
I like Ghost.
Yeah, it was Ghost, not Black Ops. But the fans didn't receive it well. The fans didn't
and I mean even the people I played Call of Duty with all the time were like, nah, this ain't it. I just have a soft spot for Ghost because it was the first Call of Duty on the PS4, and so it was like, yo, like I think that was one of the last years I did the campaign, but the campaign was just like, I'm like, this is really good.
I feel that. I'm gonna talk about one more category, then like I'm gonna let you go like ham, like do what you gotta do to talk about the rest of things you want to talk about when it comes to the categories. Then we can move on later on to what surprises us the most. Yeah. But that's one category I want to talk about in particular is the mobile awards, like who won for mobile. And there were like some steep competition, like Apex Legend Mobile, Diablo Immortal, like Genshin Impact, and Tower of Fantasy. Now I'm surprised Genshin Impact didn't take this, but like I'm really glad like the one that did win did. Wait, which is like you and I both.
Hold on, let me see if I know what Tower of Fantasy is. You can keep going, but which is
you and my like personal like attachment game, right? This again like you and I both gravitated towards, which is Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap took the gold, like they won, they got it,
well deserved.
It is well deserved. I do think Genshin Impact like probably could have.
Genshin Impact did not come out this year. Genshin Impact.
Why is it in the category?
Because I mean, like they do huge updates every year. Like they do like a full like we're adding a whole new continent and like multiple characters and like they do like really big things year over year. But
so it just seemed like a new game.
Yeah,
because of all those reasons.
Genshin Impact, I don't know. Like, let me just look up what Google says the Genshin Impact. Because if Genshin Impact came out 2022, like, I've lost all sense of time. And
did it fly over your head, Anton? Is that what happened? Just like,
well, no. Genshin Impact, I just feel like has been around for 2020.
Wow.
It was released for Android, iOS, PS4, and Windows in 2020, and then got PS5 in 2021. So, like, I'm like, yeah, Genshin has been around. Like, Genshin is not a 2022 game.
and like, Tower Fantasy, Diablo, and Genshin all still like the very kind of like hack and slash, free range type of action adventure game. But Marvel Snap like gave you something different. It was a card game, but like it was very intuitive. It was very fan based, like if for like any Marvel fan out there. But like it was just such a quick and easy on and off type game. And for mobile, like that's sometimes what you want. You don't want to be in your device the entire time. And like Marvel Snap, like kind of like catered to that. It catered like to a mobile audience. I think. Why do you think Snap got to win over all these other games in this category?
Because the Game Awards is very much for gamers. Like, gamers are the ones nominating and voting for games. Like, and gotcha. Marvel Snap, out of, like, it's for core gamers. It's for people like me. Yeah. Like, that's why, like, I vote in the Game Awards every year. Like, I actually...
Oh, wow.
I see the nominees as they come out. I voted this year. I have like a badge over there from last year's Game Awards. I try and stream over it, talk over it every year. Like, the Game Awards is for people like me that are core gamers. And Marvel Snap, out of all of these, is the most for core gamers. Apex Legends Mobile is better than Apex Legends on console, but it has its own, like, fan base. And, like, shooters on mobile, Call of Duty, PUBG... Like, when I went to see Wakanda Forever, there was a group of guys playing Call of Duty Mobile while, like, the previews are going on.
I don't get it.
I used to play Fortnite on my phone a lot, but that was just to, like, compete.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see how that like your thumb would always be in the way. Like you have to strain your eyes just to see like the target. I don't get it. I can't.
Well, for me, it would just be like I'm working on this battle pass and I got challenges like land here or something, and I can do that on my phone. Like I was never really going for wins.
You're just delegating like the time for the game.
Right. The
you got back
thing
to
is
the actual
like
game. No, I got that.
I was a CNA at the time, and it's like I'm with this patient, and they are in with a doctor right now, and I am just sitting here with access to nothing but my phone. I'll knock out a couple Fortnite challenges, so when I go home and I'm at my console and I'm playing this game, I don't have to do these like random small challenges. I can work on the challenges that actually take skill and precision and stuff like that.
I get that too. Actually, that makes a lot of sense, and I think like that's where like the in between of that and like the Marvel Snap game like really kind of disconnect. Because like as you said, like it's a game, like it's a game for gamers, and when you play this game, not only do you get invested like in every card that you want to achieve, but like the ranking system inside is pretty incredible. I like that. The more perks you get, it's pretty incredible.
And the monetization,
more cards,
like that's part of the thing with Apex, Diablo, Genshin. And I don't know anything about Tower of Fantasy. I thought that was the game that had the Amano art, like the Final Fantasy artist did art for some mobile game, and I thought it was Tower of Fantasy, but it's not.
That's what I was about to get into, was the monetization. The monetization is like it's a flat, like either like $9, $10, or $15 for the entire month. Like you work yourself up to obtain those cards, but you already paid for the way to obtain those cards. Like you pay like the amount to get more bonuses, but like you have to achieve those bonuses yourself. And for me as a gamer, that is like the way to go about. Like I've already given you the money. Now it's up for me to obtain all these obstacles. Like it's a fun challenge to see if you can get to those points to obtain those cards. Like in the big plateau is 50. It's usually like the 50th level to get like the card that everyone wants to get. And for me, it was a variant Black Panther card last month. This time it's the Silver Surfer. And I gotta tell you, man, like it was a fun ride getting there. I felt satisfaction getting there, man. It was nice.
Wait, last month or this month?
Last month.
I was about to say, dude, did you finish this battle pass in a week?
Not yet. No, not yet. I'm at seven on the battle right now and I haven't even been playing that much this month. So when I do put like the funds into it, hopefully I'll be at, next time we record, I'll be at maybe 20, fingers crossed. But I want that Silver Surfer card. I got the Storm card. Got that bad boy. Got Storm finally. I gotta get a few more. Gotta get Wong. Gotta make my deck with him, because that deck is gonna be magic. Those are my next go-to. So like this game is fun. Like it gets you involved. You get invested in it, man.
All right. So now that I've converted you to a mobile gamer.
I've been playing like Merge Mansion and Angry Birds for a good minute now, but this one here, this is like the game of the games. Like you want like a good game, this is a mobile game. This is the initiator right here.
Do you want crack in video game form? Because I don't know if you watch the awards, but Vampire Survivors is out on iOS and Android. And that's the game that like every time people play it for the first time, they inadvertently spend at least 4 hours straight playing it.
It's like that, huh?
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I talked about it on this show or Chessy Controller, but there was a night where I don't know what I was doing. Like I just was on my Steam Deck playing around, and I was like in a Discord call or in the PSN party or something, and I played like almost 6 hours of Vampire Survivors without even realizing it. Like it felt like 2 hours tops.
Oh.
But yeah,
this is like one of those old school like multi-destruction
download
games.
it to your phone. Just go ahead and download it to your phone. So the concept of the game is you only control movement of your character. All of your attacks, your abilities, everything are just on set cooldowns, and when the cooldown finishes, the effect happens. And like so you're only controlling movement, so like if you have something that's circling you, like you need to attack the enemies, and so like you're leveling up, and as you level up, like let's say you have the Bible floating around you, like you level that ability up, you get 2 Bibles floating around you, and eventually at about 10 or so minutes into a run, you become a reverse bullet hell, where enemies are coming at you in like huge number. It's like almost like a Dynasty Warriors game of like
Dynasty Warrior, yeah.
Turn your brain off and just destroy. And like there's a lot of strategy in planning out your build and like doing
Movement,
all of
too, it
that,
looks like.
but it has like all of those like dopamine hits of like when you walk into a casino and you hear the slot machines and like all of that like
Yeah.
kind of energy. It has all of that condensed down into the game, and there are no microtransactions. So like,
You know, it reminds me a little bit of Snake IO also, like looking at this in motion. Like I'm not sure if you ever play Snake IO. You just walk around eating pellets and like trying like to take down another person's snake as you're doing it. I get a little bit of that vibe with the Dynasty Warrior inside this also. Like it looks like a very fun, like time consuming kind of game, and I can see why you get like 4 hours invested inside this bad boy for sure.
I think I looked at it and I'm like probably like 20 hours into it.
Good
Like
God.
because every time that's why I can't just be playing Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors is a dangerous game because every play session is hours. There'll be times where like I'm done playing games for the night, go in my bedroom, and I'm like, I'll bring the Steam Deck, I'll play something. Make the mistake of opening Vampire Survivors. I'm playing for so long, my arms are starting to fall asleep from like holding up my body, so I have to get up and come back in here and sit down and play Vampire Survivors. So
where some people are going on TikTok for like 2 hours a night before they go to bed, you're out there playing Vampire Survivor. Gotcha.
I never use TikTok. Like that is one thing. Like I see TikToks through Twitter and through Discord and through whatever and like Instagram stories, but I just never, ever, 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 ever go on TikTok.
Definitely, Vampire Survivor is your TikTok equivalent. It looks like a fun game. It looks like something you can definitely get yourself into for sure. I might have to get this for my kids. I feel like
it's free on
like
mobile,
this.
So I'd say play
More
it on like Android, iOS.
32-bit?
Huh?
Is it 32-bit or 16-bit?
I think it's 16-bit, but I think a lot of the assets are just straight up ripped from Castlevania.
Yeah,
like it's
see that.
It's some story of like some Castlevania game like went into public domain and they were like, well, fuck it, we're gonna use the assets from this game and make an awesome game. To be clear,
it looks good. It looks good. I'm not gonna lie. Like just outside looking in, it looks like a fun game for sure.
He'll be on the inside looking out very soon. Like try it out, D.
I'm gonna get to it. Like you don't about Marvel Snap. I'm gonna try this now too, just to see what it's like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like tell you to check. You're not gonna
put
me
on astray,
huh?
Because if you did, I'll let you know. If you did, I'll definitely let you know. Like, hey man, don't tell me about games like this anymore.
Okay. Yeah,
no.
I try, like I try and know the audience for certain games and like, but I also know like things that are just quality. Like I could feel safe of anybody who were to play Vampire Survivors and get like more than 10 minutes into a run and not like understand. Like it may not be for you, but so far everybody I've recommended it to that's checked it out, it's been for them. So
yeah,
because that was the thing. And Jalen was initially the one, he talked about it on the podcast, and it was like, okay, Jalen, you like, there are a lot of times you'll like hype up games and they won't really live up to the hype. But I think it was like $3. So I was like, fuck it. And then I got a Steam Deck, and like there were a lot of YouTube videos that were like, play Vampire Survivors on your Steam Deck. It's one of the best games for the Steam Deck. Like, and
check it out.
That is like what I've spent the most time on my Steam Deck doing is playing Vampire Survivors. But while we're talking about it, Castlevania, Dead Cells is getting a Castlevania expansion. And it's Dead Cells Return to Castlevania, and the trailer for it was super cool. It was really hype of like, because we saw the character, we're like, oh, it's Dead Cells. And it's like, oh, it's Richter and Alucard. And then it's like, oh, like the further it got into it, that is one of those games that I'm really hyped for. Like I added all the Dead Cells DLC to my wish list because I have Dead Cells on PlayStation. I just apparently the DLCs go places, so I gotta check that out. That's one of those games that it's like, oh, I thought it was just a small indie game that came out, but it's like, nah, they've added 3 DLC packs. They have an official crossover with Castlevania now, so. And this will be the game that next time, when the next season of Castlevania drops, and people are looking for a Castlevania game to play, I don't think Konami's going to have
hype
one.
it.
I think this is going to be the game that's going to like gain
Hype
success.
it up for the fans.
Yeah. Because like Cyberpunk did it, Witcher did it, like all of these.
Horizon
like
Zero's trying to get to it also.
Arcane did it. Like we always talk about like these big things, like Tekken. People who watch Tekken Bloodline, it wasn't like highest concurrent players ever, but Tekken 7 had an uptick when Tekken Bloodline came out. And so the next season of Castlevania, this will be the game that
I hear you.
Directly
like having Richter inside of it?
Right. Having Dracula, having Alucard, having Richter, and who knows what else is going to be in there, because they might. Like, Motion Twin, the developers of Dead Cells, know what they're doing, and they could put characters from the Castlevania anime into it, because we're going on to like the next season's Richter or like Richter's kid.
I think it's Richter.
So yeah, having Richter be the main character of the new season of the anime and this, it's just gonna like, it'll sell itself.
I will tell you this: there's one game I haven't watched yet that I am checking out like as we speak. Is Hades 2. I've been seeing it everywhere. I'm not familiar with it, but from what I saw, that's everyone like
at all.
I'm not familiar. Not familiar with it. And I see that everyone and their grandmother is talking about this game. So like that's like the number one top choice for so many people right now. So like I'm checking out the trailer. Hopefully like it's worth to talk. But my big takeaway for it was Diablo 4. I was screaming at my computer when I saw Diablo 4 pop up.
Yes, there is. I'll send you an article for you to read about Diablo 4. I'm just knowing like the kind of good person that you are, you might not want to give your money to Diablo 4.
Because of Blizzard?
There are things that have happened inside of Blizzard directly related to Diablo 4 that when you read some of the sentences that are in...
Does it get worse, really?
It's very bad. I don't want to like... I'd have to do a huge trigger warning to even talk about it on the show, but I don't even want to get into it. It's really bad. Like, if you want to look into it, like, trigger warning before you go looking for these Diablo Blizzard development stories, like, recently, like, I was a huge fan of Diablo 3, but some of the things that went on during the development of Diablo 4, I am like... nah.
That's fucked up. That's sad. I didn't know. Like,
it's really bad, and like that's the thing. Like, Ninja 23 of the Rusty Rupees, like Diablo 2 Resurrected. Like they did a Diablo 2 remake, and he's like, "Yo, with all this stuff going on, I don't know if I can support it." And yeah, like all of us were like, "Yeah, no, don't support this." And like now Diablo 4, like I was thinking, I'm like, okay, they're kind of like cleaning up whatever, like with Overwatch, like so I played Overwatch 2 for the first season, but like now hearing this, I'm playing Overwatch got overthrown by Gundam Evolution. That's been my FPS of choice lately.
I respect that.
But
well, you gotta give us more information after the show for sure about this. But what else caught your eye announcement wise?
Oh, announcement wise, I have some highlights. Let's scroll.
This dude got a list. You hear the clicking over there.
Yeah, I had to.
For me, the Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty really caught my eye, and the Jedi Survivor definitely top.
What about Hellboy?
I did not see the Hellboy trailer yet. I'll watch it as we're talking right now, but I have not seen the Hellboy.
Yeah,
trailer.
Hellboy, Web of Weird, WYRD. Look at that, because I think that one. I'm just gonna the things that Jalen popped for. You and Jalen align with a lot of like your taste in media and pop culture.
Gotcha.
So like the Hellboy game, Jalen popped for, uh, Jedi
I will say though,
Survivor.
Hades, it looks fucking amazing. Like it looks
Hades
like a
one
very
is
fluid
great.
game.
I can't. Okay, Hades one is. Hades 1 was announced at the Game Awards. It's from Supergiant Games. Supergiant Games
Okay.
developed Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and then Hades. And Transistor was my favorite game until Hades came. Or my favorite game from them. Not my favorite game. But it's up there. Like, I have a Transistor pin right here on my pin board. I have a Transistor figure. Every platform
you're
that
a fan,
Transistor, yeah, like I am a huge fan of Transistor as a game, and by extension, Hades. Like the first time we saw Hades was at the Game Awards a few years ago, and they announced their early access. Like they were doing early access through Epic Games Store, and like I made an Epic Games account and was like, I bought it. I didn't even have a computer to play it on yet. I'm just like, no, I'm flopping my money on the table. This shit looks awesome. The music's great. And so like over time, like there were a couple chances where I got a chance to play it and I'm like, okay, gameplay is solid. Like I know they're adding to it. There's actually a No Clip documentary. I don't know if you watched No Clip ever, D, but
Have it.
oh man, their documentaries will they are close to the gold standard of making video game documentaries. Like they are several hour long things that like there's one on Final Fantasy 14, the Doom one's really good, the Hades one's really good. Like all of those no clip documentaries are required viewing for like, and so the one on Hades kind of like outlines like, yeah, they did early access. They like over time have like added to it, and then the game came out 1.0, came out on Switch. Took like, it was one of, and it probably still is in top list of Switch games, period. Then it got released across everything. PlayStation 5, I was playing it the other night because Hades 2 got announced. I was like, I gotta play some Hades. But yeah, soundtrack by Darren Korb, Ashley Johnson, as with every other, because that's part of the thing is the soundtracks of these games hit so specifically for me that
That's
like
a big seller. Gotcha.
yeah, like there's a song Ashley Johnson.
The gameplay does look crisp though. Like it looks like it's very fluid, very simple, but it looks like it has like a lot of
and this
detail
is
and nuance attached to it.
Zagreus, the main character of the first one. This is his sister, and so Zagreus is now left running hell, which was Hades' job in the first game, and yeah, so there's a lot. This is the first time they've ever done a sequel. Like they've always had like isometric views for all their games, and they've always had like the same composer and like lead vocalist. And so, like, all of their soundtracks, like, they did a concert that was just, like, different songs from all their games. And it, like, worked as a cohesive thing. So,
Makes me go cocaine Cambria when you said that.
well, there's just so much, D. Like, if we had infinite time, I'd just be like, yo, sit down, listen to the Transistor soundtrack and the Hades soundtrack. But since we're like,
Don't worry, I'm gonna put it on my Apple Music. I'll listen to it tonight.
oh, Good Riddance. That's the song from Hades that, oh man, that song is so incredibly good.
I got some audio from you. Right on. That's what I need to hear. You just told me. That's it. What else was a big takeaway from you from this? I didn't expect you to go on like that about Hades. Like
Hades,
you are a loyalist.
Hades is awesome. Hades, Supergiant Games is
was
awesome.
Not expecting that.
Hades is like you brought it up earlier, and I almost went on that tangent and got sidetracked by something
I had to bring it back.
But play Hades.
I like it. But
play Hades.
When I get my console, we got like talking about games that we're playing every week, man. We gotta get into like the gameplay. That's what I want to do. I want to get into like the playing of the games.
I know you want a Steam
talking
Deck,
about them.
but I also know Gundam Evolution is probably like top of the list of games you want to play. Gundam Evolution does not work on the Steam Deck at all.
It's a shooter. I'm not big into shooters. Like I'm looking at the gameplay right now. 25 minutes on IGN. It looks cool. Like it plays like how you would think a Gundam mech would, except for the flying. I don't see much flying in this, but it looks cool.
You can jump and hover.
It's very I saw that. I saw you can jump and hover, but I didn't think I figured like with a Gundam, be a little bit more space battles, but it looks like a fun game. It does. It maybe not for this guy because like the shooting aspect. I'm more of a platformer guy. Like me and platformers are like this. So shooting wise, I'll give it a shot when I get myself a console. But like, I haven't.
Celeste is one of the greatest platformers of all time. We'll just
you just give me so many games I'll hop onto. I love it.
Like
this is why you're here, man. Like you're the game guru.
So yeah. I have no idea where we were at. Oh, I was looking at these announcements.
We were talking about announcements.
Yeah.
We were talking about announcements. Yeah. We were
Death
talking about
Stranding.
Announcements that we saw.
So I'll give you like my top list, like just going through all the announcements, and then
rattle them off. Go ahead.
Yeah. Death Stranding 2, Hades 2, Dead Cells Return to Castlevania, Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core 6, Judas, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty is Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, Forspoken, I gotta play that demo. Replaced. Anytime Replaced shows up, I'm there. Vampire Survivors, coming to mobile was a huge thing. And then Among Us, I re-downloaded Among Us to try out the hide and seek mode because that seemed really cool.
What about Judas and Dune Awakening? Nothing for that?
Oh yeah, I said Judas. But the
Did
Dune,
you say Judas? I missed that. That's
yeah, because that's Ken Levine, and that is the guy that is responsible for BioShock. His first game since BioShock Infinite. So
that's a lot. That's a lot to digest. I'm pretty sure I can guess which one like you're top excited for. I can only guess which one that you're most anticipating to come out. And I'm assuming that's going to be Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. We got the Revenge trailer. We finally got to see party members. Final Fantasy VI. Yoshi P was on stage. Like, you hear me yelling about Yoshi P, you can put a face to the name. Yeah. Like, Yoshi P came out, and he doesn't speak English. He learned, like, that little, like, we hope you enjoy Final Fantasy. Like, came out, said his piece in English, played one of the most fire trailers of the night. Because that Armored Core trailer, holy shit. I thought it was Elden Ring DLC. And, like, I was joking. I'm like, oh, it's Elden Ring. And then we see, like, Armored Core. It's like, oh, shit. And then we see that FromSoft, because FromSoft has been rumored to have been doing a new Armored Core recently. So that was, like, the next thing they could have done would have been Bloodborne 2, Dark Souls 4, Sekiro 2, Armored Core 6, and this one was super not likely, Elden Ring 2.
Oh, I don't see that coming anytime soon. That's going to be a while.
Well, not necessarily, because the way they're cranking games out, like, I think Armored Core 6 could be 2023. I think, like, probably a year from now, we'll either know when it's coming or it'll be out.
Think it'll be end of the year?
Possibly. It'll be interesting to see because, like, it's been rumored for so long and talked about, like, Bandai Namco sent out surveys, like, The amount of things that just get leaked from like these companies sending out surveys is ridiculous. But they were like, "Hey,
I give you that.
Sekiro players, Elden Ring players, what would you think if we brought back Armored Core?" And of course, like, because if you were a From Software fan pre Dark Souls, you were probably a Kingsfield fan, or you were an Armored Core fan.
I do remember playing Armored Core. I will say that. Like, I didn't know it was from Soft.
Yep,
but
same
I do remember
studio
playing Armored
this
Core.
whole time. And they made this one-off Demon Souls, and then they made this another one-off Dark Souls, and then Dark Souls took over the world, and they've been like Elden Ring has really taken over the world. So,
I mean, it really has. Like, you're absolutely correct about it. It really has. And I feel like the traction with God of War is also is in that same. They are like the top contenders for the standard of platformers right now, and like MMORPGs. Like those are the standards right now. Those are what everyone like are setting themselves to, or those two bad boys. So like that 2023 is going to be I think 2024 is going to be a really interesting time for gaming, considering that those two games are pillars of 2022. I'm really excited to see what happens in the next coming years.
Well, I
for
mean,
games.
What I'd say is that we are in a new golden era of gaming, because so many things got delayed. The pandemic messed up a lot of stuff, brought a lot of new people into gaming, and like gaming has been like super profitable recently. So 2020 was crazy. Really. Yeah. 2021 was crazy. 2022 was crazy. 2023 is gonna be insane. Like, I started going through and making my list of just the games I played 2022, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, like Elden Ring, and next year is not slowing down. Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, like, it is sequels to games that have been coming out, and just this avalanche of games are starting to come out and add to the avalanche. And so, and then there's stuff like Hades 2 is a completely out of the blue thing. Like, I would have thought the next Supergiant game would have been something totally different, just like every game they've done. But now they're doing a sequel to probably one of their best games ever, and just using the insane amount of money and popularity they got from that to help fund and like work on this game. And then like Final Fantasy 16. I don't know what else I can say about Final Fantasy 16. Like,
there's not much you can say about it. It speaks for itself, man. Like, you have the same creators from Final Fantasy 14 coming to do 16. Like, there's not really much you can say. Like,
with the combat director of Devil May Cry 5. Like,
just get your money ready. That's all you. That's all. I can't. All you can say.
I can't. I can't. I need a new job. Somebody hire me.
You're gonna pay for it. You know, like the fact that you say that, like, just to deviate just for one second with this, I will say that it is interesting to hear on like one of the latest episodes of our Kindred show that we've been listening to, Kind of Funny Games. They've also talked about the same thing we talked about last week, which is the accessibility of games, the price going up to $70, and like a possible streaming situation going on with these companies. Like, I do think like that is. I know you said like people don't care about paying $70. People do care about paying $70 for a game. Like the culture going to change in that, and like it was nice to hear that someone else is talking about like the culture changing about the gaming and like paying for these games. Also, just to deviate just for 1 second from the Game Awards.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that people will immediately, especially in the short term, think twice about buying a game at $70, but it has become the norm, and it's going to continue being like normalized by these companies. I wouldn't be surprised if next time, like whenever the Super Switch or Switch Pro or whatever comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if those games are $70. So,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. No joke. As much as I don't like it, I would not be surprised whatsoever.
So,
it's a deterrent for some of us, man. It's a deterrent. Like paying $70 just for one video game, it's a crunch to your pocket, as you were just talking about.
Right, because 16's gonna. I'm getting the digital deluxe of 16, so that's gonna be like $100.
And like, And like I knew you were gonna play Death Stranding too. I know like that's gonna be in your list. You just talked about Hades also.
Right.
Like there's a lot of games
Well,
on your
Hades
list
won't
that you want
be
to be checking out.
$70. Hades will be like probably the early access price might be $20 to $30, and then like so I'm gonna and they're doing early access through Steam. So I am playing Hades too. Like I talked about this on Chessy Controller.
Gotcha.
The second I already wishlisted it on Steam. The second it's available, I'm getting Hades 2 on Steam, and I'm playing from the early access period all the way until it comes out on PlayStation. Then I'll get it on PlayStation and probably play it there. But to be fair, I have Hades on Epic Game Store, so PC, Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. So, and I have Transistor way more places. I have Transistor on Epic Game Store, Steam, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 5, Switch, Xbox. So, yeah, I have Transistor way more times than I have Hades. But yeah, Hades 2 will be a Steam Deck. That'll probably be the next thing of like a game that is perfect for Steam Deck that I can't play anywhere else. And or like I could play other places, but like the ideal way, because I know PlayStation's not going to do early access with Hades. It looks like it's just Epic Game Store and Steam, and Steam is all I need. I will all day, every day.
Yeah, for you, yeah. That's all you really got to. That's all you really need to go towards. We didn't mention Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Like,
oh like man, that trailer shouldn't have gotten me the way it got me.
I was about to say because like you've been like not talking about, it, so I had to ask. Like that trailer was boss, man.
Yeah, for me, I'm probably not gonna play the game. Like Ron Funches is King Shark, and that's really big. But for me, yeah,
Conroy's coming back. Like he's gonna be like last role as the Batman, and that's gonna be
right. Yeah, so Kevin Conroy. Yeah, they were like, thank you, Kevin. This is Kevin Conroy's final role as the Batman. And it was like when Chadwick Boseman, his final performance as the Black Panther was in What If. Like that was kind of like a big moment of, and so
won an award, won an Emmy. Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, this shouldn't have gotten me because I don't really have that affinity for Kevin Conroy. But like talking to you and talking to Jalen and talking to and hearing like Greg Miller talk about Kevin Conroy and just knowing the people who like, if there were Batman things, you're the authority on Batman, so I would come to you about it. Like I was waiting for the table cheese where we talked about it just so I could be like, D, you have a giant Batman tattoo. Like, how do you feel about this? So
I couldn't even like hear him like say the whole line because it was too emotional for me. But it is
right.
I gotta get
like,
this game.
I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am the Batman.
Yeah, man, that was rough for me. Like to hear that, and like he like just like Hamill, like they had they always had a fun time playing these roles, and you can tell they did. Whenever like it was a Batman role that he can sign up to, he took it and he destroyed it. Even if the project he was working on wasn't the best, he all legs running, man. Like it was always like a good time seeing Batman. Hearing Kevin Conroy as a Batman was always a great time. So like having him in this game as an antagonist,
and this is the last time.
It's gonna mess with me. It's gonna like, and like hopefully I'll have myself a console by then too. So yeah, I'm gonna get
and this one is I think exclusive to PS5 Series X and S. So like this is one that is you're gonna have to get one of the big boy consoles.
It seems like I do love PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation guy, so that's my go-to. So like
I mean, you can get you a digital console, $400.
We talked about that like I think we talked about it last episode. Did we talk about that through phone call? I forget like where we talked about this too, but like definitely gotta. I'm gonna get like the Mamma Jamma just to play this game, just to put it in front of me, have the controller in my hand, and just go ham.
And there's so much free to play stuff. Like whenever you get a PS5, we'll just like indoctrinate you into the PSN. And
I've had it. I've had a PlayStation Network before. I've had like the whole PlayStation Plus go around. My screen name is Darth Burn Knight when I get back on it. It used to be Jet Screamer. My son took that name from me, so his name is Jet Screamer now. So I can't use it anymore because my 6-year-old stole my old handle. But Darth Burn Knight, that's my PlayStation go to.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get on it. I'm watching this right now. I'm watching this Forspoken trailer.
Yeah, Forspoken looks good. They put out a demo, and the only person I know that has even gotten time to try the demo is Madrid. And I've seen a couple impressions of it on Twitter. It doesn't seem like it plays the best.
I'm about to say he's a tough critic too. So what's he say about it?
Yeah, it just seems like because like black female protagonist, like it's an isekai. She's getting teleported to another world. It's Luminous Productions that made Final Fantasy 15. The combat looks really good, but apparently it just doesn't play well, and so
Think because she's a speedster is what it is.
I don't know. I have the demo installed on my PS5 ready to go. I just need
give it a shot, man.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Give it a shot. Let us know next episode because I really want to hear what you think about this game. Because when I saw it, I was kind of like enthralled by the way it looks.
Every time they've shown Forsaken, every time they've shown Forsaken, like we've been huge fans of like. For this to be a action JRPG and the protagonist being like the actress that motion captured and voice captured for this character, like looks like the character, and so
it's like identical.
Yeah, for us that's like off the bat, it's like a big deal. Of
Ella Belansky is her name, by the way. Yeah,
Ella Belansky. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
we stand her.
The video for right now.
she
right.
She's a cooler protagonist than the protag for 16.
Oh, what's the deal with the protagonist on 16? What's their deal?
Oh, he looks cool. It's just he's not a black woman, so. And
and I feel like this is like she's from the new Resident Evil show. Okay.
Okay. So I might have to watch the new Resident Evil show because it's like Angra Boda in God of War, like being played by a black actress. Like that is something we will always support around here. It's like black women being involved in voice and motion capture for video games and. Like,
for a Square Enix property, which rarely ever happens.
Right, that's one of the things. Like Square Enix is really bad about, like Final Fantasy 16 doesn't have any black characters.
And a lot of people were talking about this like a few months ago. They were getting on that train. Like,
right,
this feels weird.
So it's the same token of like we know 16 is going to be good, but we have to ding points for it not having black people. And Forspoken might not be that good, but we got to give it points for having black people.
Yeah, you're right. Like,
I don't make the rules. For sure. But yeah, for some of the highlights of awards for me for the night, we had Best Ongoing Game and Best Community. Let me see what the actual other title was. I'm not seeing it. Not action, no. Best Community Support and Best Ongoing Game. Final Fantasy 14 won.
Final Fantasy, yeah. You're baby.
Mm-hmm. I'm part of that community. I'm one of the people that voted for 16 or 14 in both of those categories. So
why doesn't that surprise me? So that's definitely like one of your main go-tos. Yeah. And of course, Christopher Judge won Best Performance.
And gave a speech where he was trying to win everybody a Steam Deck because they were like, "We're giving out one Steam Deck per minute." Guess how many Steam Decks they gave out during just Christopher Judge's speech?
I'm here for it. Like, give me the answer.
9.
Damn.
Because he was like 8 minutes and some seconds, so 9 Steam Decks were given out. 9 Steam Decks were given out during just the time of Christopher Judge's speech.
No, I'm gonna take back what I said about adaptations, about wanting Cyberpunk to win. I really think Cuphead should have won the adaptation, but whatever.
Honestly, all of these except Uncharted had a fair shot at it. I've heard Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was good. I heard the Cuphead show was good.
The first one.
I liked Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I liked Arcane.
As we all know.
All of these had a fair shot at it, except Uncharted. Uncharted was not a good movie. I think it's still on Netflix. It's worth a watch.
It's blah.
But
it's blah, to say the least.
I saw it in theaters instead of the Batman. I think that was like one of our first episodes, as I talked about.
How dare you?
I could have gone to see whatever movie for like $2, and I went to see Uncharted.
Rude. How dare you? I'm glad we weren't as close as we are now. You telling me some crap like that. How dare you go see Uncharted instead? The gamer in you.
Okay, so we got Oni Noir X in the chat talking about Forspoken, saying the controls feels kind of clunky. Like I had to do a lot of switching stuff around to make it feel comfortable. And I know he's a lot better about remapping controls than me. Because a lot of times I'll just play with the default, even if it's not the best. Like Gundam Evolution, the default kind of sucks. As a lot of times I press X trying to jump, and I use whatever ability is assigned to X. But, yeah, so, I don't know. I think I'm going to wait on the sale, but I'm definitely going to play Forspoken at some point. I thought it was a day one for a really long time, but January's Monster Hunter Rise.
Give it 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'll definitely play the demo, but it's the $70 for the game that is I'm probably not going to do that.
not if the controls feel clunky to you. No, there'd be no point. But I think that's all I got for this episode. Not a big gaming week because the award show just took over everything.
Yeah, and I mean there was. I highly recommend watching, so you can watch our watch along that, depending on when this comes out, it might be on twitch.tv/Cheesy Controller. If not, YouTube Cheesy Controller Podcast will have highlights. But Jeff Keighley actually put out the entire show in 4K. So all the trailers are in 4K. All the performances were shot in 4K. So it's a 3.5 hour long video. But it was relentless. We didn't even talk about stuff like Destiny or Valiant Hearts or Remnant or Blue Protocol. There were so many things for so many people. I tried to talk about just the games that appealed to me specifically, but that's probably a third of the games, and I have to be choosy. All these games looked great. Transformers Reactivate didn't even come up.
Yeah.
And
couldn't even talk about it. There's so much to get into on this. You're absolutely right.
Right. So I highly recommend it's kind of like the E3 sense of just watch the press conference, just watch the Game Awards, and you'll really see if you're not necessarily into gaming, if you just got a console, it's kind of a good thing to set you up of it's reflecting back on the year that was 2022 and looking forward to the future, and it's really bright on both ends, so yeah, I say go watch it.
It's a lot to digest for sure. A lot to digest, a lot to take in. It's there was some more news in the front. I believe it was the FTC sues to block Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition. That happened. We don't have any time to get into all of that. Stream makes one of 2011 best game free for some users, and I think that N64 4 on the Switch just got a new expansion. So there's a lot of stuff to get into. If maybe next episode we can talk about it a little bit more, but there was a lot of stuff to dive into this week. And
I mean, I think we did a 2-hour episode for Cheesy Controller, so we talked about a lot of the different things there. So
check them out.
Yeah,
check them out. And where you find podcasts, or check out your Twitch for older episodes. Get on it.
Or the YouTube for older episodes. The Twitch, they just happen to be there for a little while. So if you want to, you can try there, but there's no guarantees that's anything will be there, I recommend YouTube for the old Cheesy Controller video content.
He's the guy. It's this show. He's letting you all know.
Mm-hmm.
That is the place. Anything you want to say to folks before we got here?
I mean, I said watch the Game Awards. Check out Hades. Do yourself a favor. If you don't know how good Hades is, check it out. Give that one a spin.
I agreed. And also, if you get a chance, check out that Castlevania Dead Cells. Like, it's a cute trailer.
Yeah, it's a really good trailer. Okay. Until next time, you can follow me around the internet, cheesycontrollerpodcast.com, on Twitter and Twitch at Anton Sixxx with 3 X's, on Instagram and PlayStation Network, Anton Sixxx with the number 6 and 2 X's. D, where can people find you?
Don't get those mistaken. It'd be a bad time. You go on Google and searching that up in the wrong way. I haven't done that yet, but I want to see what happens. I'm D of F2 Nerd Talk. You can find me wherever you find F2 Nerd Talk, on Pinterest, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the places. I spend most of my time showing my face on TikTok, but like you want to see like some cool content, check out the YouTube and Instagram. It's the best place to go.
All right. Until next time, keep it cheesy.
And take it easy. Hey guys, D here of FTL Nerd Talk. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about FTL Nerd Talk. Got a lot of different shows for all of you. Make sure you tune in every week for a brand new episode. Take it easy.